see if we're live. I think we are live. Okay, we're going to start the second half of this league. The first half is saved on the YouTube channel. It seems like I have now Arjun Kiswani YouTube channel. La Copa Colonia Part 1 was completed. The standings after that is Cheetahs, which is Tom Allen, number 1. Gokul number 2. Speaking of Gokul, I managed to call Gokul up during the break. Gokul's doing a video conference with all of his friends in India, and he's been doing that all day. So he says that he's going to try and join us as soon as he's able to finish that. So he might join in. He's second so far, and I don't know if he's going to be happy about that or not. Number 3 is Samir. He's had a very good steady game throughout this first half so far. Number 4, Rob. Rob, interestingly enough, decided to surprisingly have Mitchell Stark keep wickets for him. I don't know why he chose to do that, but he still managed to end the first half in the top 4, which is fantastic. Next we have Cougars, which is Colombo, Jack, Lions. It's good, I can see the comments now. Can you guys see it as well? I think you will see it now. Yeah, surprising. Alan at 6. Number 7 is Greg, and number 8 sadly is Sahir right at the end with only 1 victory, which I forget, I think that was against was it Cheetahs? No, I don't know who that was against. But Sahir has got 1 victory and he has a draw against Greg. So, just a quick recap again of the batting so far. The highest run scorer is Sangakkara, who's whipped Rahul Dravid to the top after Rahul Dravid is really running away with it throughout the tournament. And the highest wicket taker, boringly enough, has been Nathan Lyon throughout this tournament. So Rob hasn't really required a Mitchell Stark in his team, you could see, because you can see in the top 10 he has 3 players, Lyon, Intini and himself. So let's continue with round 8. We should have some more people joining us soon. Hopefully that also includes Gokul will join us soon. Just send him a message, Gokul. Okay, let's start round 8 of 14. Round 8 of 14. Let's see how it goes. So, first game is Pumas versus Cheetahs. So, Pumas is Greg, Cheetahs is Tom, who are number 1. Let's see if Greg stands a chance. I don't know what's going to happen over here. I have a feeling that Greg might just win it, or if he loses, he'll lose it in a really tight game. But in any case, it will be a tight game, is my guess. It's not. No, I was wrong. I think this is the first innings victory we've seen so far, because every game so far has had 4 innings played. So I start off in a ha from Greg. You can see this now, so you don't need me to comment. Outstanding batting performance by Tom's team over there. Lara really stepping up with a double century, and Justin Langer with another double century. I think he scored 2, maybe even 3 double centuries, at least 2 double centuries so far. Ricky Ponting with century. He's remaining at the top, but I don't think he's really been able to infiltrate the top 2 or 3 that we have over there so far. Ravi Jadeja has picked up 7 in the first innings and 6 in the second innings, which is 13 wickets in the game, and I think that itself is. Okay. Next time, Greg. 13 wickets, yeah. So Ravi Jadeja clearly jumps up to the top of the bowlers table just with this one. I don't think there's really much to see within the lineup over here, the scorecards over here. Trent Bolt has had a poor game, poor first innings at least. Well, it's only been 1 innings. No, it's been 2 for him. Brian Lara 200, Tom Latham with a century as well. Okay, interesting. How much did Greg score? Let's see. Greg scored 80. Very good. He's firmly at the top of the Merton rankings at least. He's winning something. Tom with 1 wicket in the first innings and Tom with 1 in the second innings. Yes, it's very clearly the Ravi Jadeja show. Did Ravi Jadeja get any runs in his... Yeah, he scored 12, no doubt. So, super stuff by Ravi Jadeja. Let's go to game 2. Game 2 is Sahir, who is currently, as we said, number 8 against Jack. Let's see if Sahir can pick up his second victory of the day. No, Sahir has a draw. So I think this is the third draw of the tournament so far. 2 of them involved Sahir, 1 of them involved Greg. Let's look at the scorecard. So yeah, some really big first innings scores by both teams, 500 runs pretty much by both teams, which meant that the game was probably going to end up as a draw anyway. You could see the Tigers started off quite well. Chandrapal with 250, Jayasuriya with 180, Jack scoring a century in both innings actually. Jack scoring a century in both innings, which means that Jack probably has begun overtaking at least Gokul in the Merton rankings so far. So pretty good stuff over here. Let's look deeper into the bowling. So bowling, Jimmy Anderson hasn't done much. Shane Warne, we have 3 people who bet on Shane Warne as the highest wicket taker, but they're not looking too strong so far. Fantastic batting performance from Jayasuriya. I wonder what's happening with Donald and Walsh and Ambrose. These 3 guys were initially thought to be among the best fast bowlers, and they are, right? Their ratings are actually really good. But it's guys like Trent Bolt and Tim Southee who are doing much better than them. And Rob Jordan. Rob Jordan's rating is 79, I think. Southee and Bolt are around 82, 83. Whereas Donald, Walsh, Ambrose are all 87, 88, 89, maybe 90. So runs and wickets being spread across a lot of different people. Well, actually, at least Donald and Walsh are contributing with a bat, because besides Rohit Sharma, who was run out by Ealing, Courtney Walsh is the second highest run scorer in the innings, 75 not out. Maybe Courtney Walsh should open. Maybe Sahil, you need to have a slight change in your batting lineup. Think about it. Okay, let's go on to the third game. Third game is Rob, who, like we said, managed to finish in the top half, versus Gokul. So I think this is going to be a good game, because apparently Rob has decided to change his wicketkeeper after the break. He's decided to give Quinton de Kock the gloves because he backs Mitchell Starc with the ball. In fact, he's promoted Mitchell Starc, I believe, to opening the bowling. Or maybe I'm wrong. But let's see if Mitchell Starc does get a ball in this game, because he hasn't bowled a single ball so far. Let's see what happens as the result. Can Rob win this one? This is a fantastic result for Rob. Rob will be pleased because he's moved up to number 3 in the ranking, and he's actually pushed Samir down to 4 by beating by beating Gokul, right? Not just Rob, but this is definitely going to please Tom Allen as well, because Tom has consolidated his lead at the top. He's two victories ahead of Gokul, so you can see the points of that. Tom with 21 points, Gokul with 15 points. So Tom really running away so far with 6 points lead against second place Gokul. So who made the runs? Who got the wickets for Rob? Did Mitchell Stark really get a ball? Let's see. I is the first running to Mitchell Stark. Mitchell Stark has not gotten any wickets of note. I mean, he's relying, as we know, on Lyon with 5 and Intini with 5. By the way, Kapil Dev, I noticed, had the best bowling average in the entire tournament so far. Looks like he's gone for a few runs, but still about 35 is bowling average, so it's not that bad today. And de Kock has taken the gloves, and with that his batting has improved as well. So he's made 178 not out in his innings. Gokul's made some runs, but it looks like they never really got going. No one really made a really big score for Gokul in either innings. He made 300 and something in both their innings, their team, which was never going to be enough for Rob, where you could see the advantage of having some players really bat down and make big scores like de Kock and Hidden have. 75 to win with a strong batting lineup like Rob's was never going to be too complicated. Our friend Chaminda Vas has picked up 3 wickets. Let's quickly have a look through the first innings. We see Gokul with a century, as we've seen. Intini's picked up a lot of wickets in the middle order over there. Rob's first innings, actually his middle order has had a bit of a collapse over there. 140 for 4 to 50 for 5, and then another 100 run partnership after that, 150 runs. Presumably Labuschagne and de Kock. Rob Jordan himself with a very steady 68 not out of 140 balls. That's the captain's innings. That he was so confident with that he decided to declare the innings with de Kock on 178 and himself on 68 not out. So that's quite confident from Rob against first place Gokul to actually declare the innings. Maybe he has faith in his bowlers, but actually we did not see a new bowler. So Rob, despite his promises, has not decided to give Mitchell Stark a ball in this innings. I really wonder why. Let's try and figure that out. Moving on to Gokul's second innings, quite a dismal performance by his top order. Sangakkara, who was leading so far, probably is not going to continue leading. Yunus Khan, we haven't heard his name too much in this tournament so far. He hasn't been up to the mark. He's a fantastic batsman, but he hasn't been doing too much. Second innings, the one and only Mitchell Stark has bowled 0 overs again. So very interesting to see what's going on. Perhaps it's a good idea to go see. Maybe we take a quick look into the dressing room, just like the test on Amazon, and see what's going on with this team. See what's going on with Rob Jordan's team. Why does he keep choosing not to give Mitchell Stark a ball? So which is his team? Perth Panthers. No, not Perth Panthers. Victoria Panthers. Lineups. Mitchell Stark is supposed to be the number 1 bowler according to this, but who knows? Maybe the system. Can you check who is keeping in the tournament? He says. I don't think you can. Let's see. But in any case, whatever the case may be, this seems to be working for Rob, because he's pushed himself up to number 3, which is the highest position that he's had in the entire tournament so far, and he's beaten the pre-tournament favourite Gokul. So let's continue. And let's play the fourth game in this 8th round. And this is a middle of the league clash between Alan's Lions and Samir's Leopards. Samir was again one of the early tournament favorites. I think Samir might win this game, so let's see what happens. Fourth draw of the game, I think. Probably two of them involving Alan. First one, I think, involving Samir. So that would mean that some of Samir's players batted quite a long time. Let's see who it was. So 500, 500, 500. 3 500s in the first few innings, and then 7 wickets lost in the fourth inning. So it was quite close. Sunil Gavaskar and Sachin Tendulkar making some runs for Alan in the final innings. So they really saved the game for Alan. Gavaskar with 300 runs in this game alone, and Gavaskar's been the top 5 batsman, so he's had a fantastic tournament. So it's really these two batsmen, Gavaskar and Sachin Tendulkar, who've been managing the innings or managing the entire batting lineup for the Lions, because they haven't really had anyone making too many runs of note. Another outstanding performance in the batting lineup from the Leopards by two people. Saeed Anwar is one of them. He has made over 400 runs in this game alone, which is probably going to move him up towards the top 5, if not within the top 5. 287 not down in the second innings is a fantastic performance for Saeed Anwar, and that's ably supported by Samir Rana, who made 244, 224 in this innings, in this game. 224, I guess, would move him up above Jack, perhaps, although Jack has had a very good game this round as well. So maybe they're threatening the likes of Greg and Gokul. So I guess all 4 of them are very close now: Greg, Gokul, Jack and Samir. From the bowling perspective, Ashwin with 8 wickets, and nothing really from anyone else in the Lions team. Lions really, they really need to improve their bowling somehow. Let's quickly run through the lineup, the batting scorecard. Yeah, I remember Cook and Root in the first couple of games they started off quite well, but nothing of note really after that I remember. Long spells for all of these guys. Shoaib Akhtar and Mohammad Amir bowling over 30 overs in the game. It's a long spell, and Samir, no wickets again for him. We've seen Samir's strike rate and average have been quite poor in this tournament from a bowling perspective. Good point by Alan. Why is my lineup not changed? It seems like the lineups don't change mid-tournament, but you're the captain, Alan, so maybe you should change your lineup. Make your players bowl when they should bowl, and bat when they should bat. Okay, and then let's look at the standings after this. No real change in the standings. Panthers have moved back to 4. Very close to the Leopards, actually tied with the Leopards, so they're only 4th with lower net run rate. Let's see. So actually Gavaskar made, how many runs did he make in this? I think he made 300 runs or something in this round. Saeed Anwar is actually in the top 5 because he made 430 odd in this round. What about our Merton boys, the 4 of them? Is there a change? So Greg's still number 1. Gokul and Jack are pretty much neck and neck. Jack's right behind him, and Samir's really moved up. So the 3 of them, Gokul, Jack and Samir, are all very close to each other, which is good to see. Let's move on to round 9. Round 9 begins with bottom of the table Lions versus Greg's Perth Pumas. Interesting one to watch. So this change doesn't really Yeah, so it kind of swaps the two of them around. So Greg's moved up to 6 because of his fantastic victory over Perth, over the Lions. Once again, we see only Sachin Tendulkar making any runs for them. Gavaskar's failed in this game. But really, Lions need more of a batting performance from others. The outstanding performance to talk about over here is finally the emergence of one of the best, if not the best, spinner ever to race a game, Muralitharan. Muralitharan picks up 14 wickets in the game. Probably the highest, most number of wickets in a match, I think. Let's see. I think so. 14 wickets from Muralitharan should move him right up the bowlers list. Yeah, 123 runs from Boucher is, I think, his highest score in the game. I think that's because he's rated so perfectly. If he's around 76, that's probably the best rating that he should be having. Vittori running through the bottom order, lower order, hasn't taken one wicket in the top, 2 wickets in the top actually, so it's not that. One of them was Greg's, that doesn't count. Yeah, Josh Hazelwood has had a pretty poor tournament so far. You can see that the new lineup that Alan wanted hasn't come into play over here, but it really wouldn't have made a difference because Angelo Matthews hasn't been making runs. All it would have done is pushed Botham and Vittori even lower, and actually Vittori has been probably one of the Lions' best batsmen in this tournament. Definitely their best bowler. Greg continues to open the bowling. 2 overs of his left or right or one of them arm medium pace bowling. Yeah, Greg's cleared with the bat 4 runs in the second innings and 22 in the first innings, so this is a good chance for the other 3 boys to catch up. And let's look if they can, because in this game we have Samir playing and we have Rob playing against him. These two, I think they played in the last round, didn't they? But they swapped in the last round. Let's see if Rob can really consolidate himself, because the 2 of these guys are at 13 points. And the winner of this is going to move up to number 2. So if there is a winner, that means that Gokul moves down to 3rd. This is a draw. Let's see. So let's simulate. Oh, such a tight game. Rob, fantastic. I don't think Rob needs Mitchell Stark. I think this is the best thing for him, because he's beaten Samir, which I think is really tough for Samir right now to really move up the rankings, because he's played 8 and won 4 after this game, whereas Rob's won 5, and Rob moves up to number 2, which moves Gokul down to 3. So a really tight game, 3 wickets, the margin of victory. Was it Callis, we think? Who do we think made the runs in this game? Who do we think got the wickets? Did Wasim and Akhtar get any good wickets for Panthers? Let's see. Okay, let's look at the bowling quickly first. So Shoaib Akhtar 4 wickets. So that's quite good for Shoaib Akhtar. Nothing really for Wasim of note. From the bowling perspective, absolute standout bowling performance would be of Nathan Lyon. Nathan Lyon has taken 9 wickets in this innings. Nathan Lyon, Vettori, Ashwin and Muralitharan, 4 of them I think are really fighting it out for the top bowler spot, and every time you see Vettori or Murli or someone else makes some inroads, you see Nathan Lyon with a stellar performance like this. 9 wickets. Rob's had an expensive second innings with 117 runs that he's conceded, but he's still taking 4 wickets in the game, which is quite good. From a batting perspective, we thought it might have been Callis, but there's nothing really we see from Callis. Amla with 2 centuries, David Warner with 1, and Rahul Dravid running back with a big century, and that's what probably allowed the Panthers to sneak the victory was the two results, the 2 centuries from Hashim Amla. It'll be interesting to see how the 4th innings went, what the fall of wickets was in the 4th innings, because 411 is a really high score for anyone to chase, and Rob's team has done that. So let's see how that goes, because it looks like the runs came from the top order. So let's start with the 1st innings. So first innings from Samir, he has he's had a terrible first start, 40 for 3 before David Warner and Babar Azam, I think. Babar Azam needed a good score, so 87, not bad. Still no start. Yeah, Rob, you need to change your wicketkeeper, I think, next time. Maybe Quinton de Kock should get a goal, who knows. But you're winning the last 2 games, Rob. So Quinton de Kock is keeping. So you can see where Quinton de Kock is keeping. Don't know why you're not giving Stark a goal after that. But Quinton de Kock scores a century, not out. Samir Rana again with no wickets to his name, really damaging his average. I think he should. I don't think he needs to bowl so much, right? He's bowled as much as Mohammad Amir has, which is slightly less than Shoaib Akhtar has. Maybe Samir needs to give himself a bit of a rest and continue with Amir and Shoaib Akhtar. It does look from here that Quinton de Kock is the keeper, because you see the keeper symbol next to him. But who knows? Probably he's not. In fact, I think he's not. I think Mitchell Stark is keeping. Lahore's second innings was 500 runs. That's after this innings, I'm sure Samir felt that he had enough, because that means that he left a 400 run target to chase Rob. Nathan Lyon, 9 wickets, but still 9 wickets at 500 runs would only mean that the rest of the bowlers are pretty poor in this game, this inning. So let's look at the others. You can see Rob Jordan having a tough day, 117 for 1, Intini no wickets, and Callis no wickets as well. Perhaps if he'd have given Mitchell Stark a bowl, things might have turned out a bit differently, but it did not matter in the end, because Rob chased down a very high score of 411 with a top order performance from Amla and Smith. So let's look at the fall of wickets. They lost Hayden early, but after that it was 170 odd from Smith and Amla before one of them fell, and then the other fell. Probably Smith. Looks like Smith fell first. So 260 for 2, they were probably looking quite comfortable at 260 for 2. But then at 327 for 6, that means that they needed 80 runs or 90 runs, and they still and they had only 4 wickets in hand. So the one and only wicket-keeping legend for the Panthers, Mitchell Stark, has won the game for them with 48 not out. So good wicket-keeping batting by Mitchell Stark. So this is a very interesting game that we just saw. Let's move on to Gokul. Gokul has a game in hand, I didn't realize. So Gokul actually can go back to number 2 in here, and let's see if Sahir actually can beat Gokul. So simulate. This is unfortunate for Sahir, because this is I think the closest game that we've had so far. This is a 1 wicket victory for Gokul, which moves him back to number 2. At 9 for 334 at the end, you could see, and Gokul himself making the runs, 80 from Gokul, 79 from Sangakkara. So there seems like there was a bit of a dismantling of the middle and lower order of the Jaguars by Walsh and Ambrose in the last innings. But we'll get to that. Let's start off in the beginning. So the Tigers for Sahir. Started off really poorly with 190 runs only. Kumble and Vas getting some good wickets, which is good to see Vas finally getting some good wickets in there. Jaguars didn't really take advantage. They had a 100-run lead, but they probably felt, or they wished that they could have gotten an even higher lead. And then Sahir's favourite and your narrator's favourite, Saurav Ganguly with 170, really brought Sahir back into the game. Vas with another 4-4, so that's 8 wickets in the game for Chaminda Vas. But how Sahir would have wished that his first innings went a little bit better. If he would have scored maybe 50 or 60 more runs, then things might have turned out a bit differently, because the target at 334 was in the end just a little bit too low for Sahir. And the Jaguars just pipped Sahir to the finish post. Let's run through the first few screens until we get Sahir is going to kill you. I don't know why he'll kill me. He's the captain. He chose his team. He chose the batting lineup. Saurav Ganguly 170, like we said, fantastic. Sahir out for 0 first ball. Is that a hat trick then by Chaminda Vas? 218. It looks like it might have been a hat trick for Chaminda Vas. So Chaminda Vas seems like he got Chandrapal out. Next ball, LBW, Ben Stokes. And then next ball, Sahir is on strike, captain against the best bowler in the world, Chaminda Vas. And Sahir with a flamboyant drive outside the off stump, but he nicks it to Sangakkara, who takes a simple catch. And that's Chaminda Vas' hat trick. Chaminda Vas, interestingly enough, got a hat trick in, I think, the first 3 balls off an ODI in a World Cup. And I think he also got 4 wickets in that first over. Was it against Bangladesh or someone? I don't quite remember, but I do think Chaminda Vas got 4 wickets in the first over World Cup game, including a hat trick of the first 3 balls. Yeah, drive to mid-off. This is called straight drive, Samir. But we wanted to see the 4th innings and see how close that was, because it's a one wicket victory. So this is interesting. So Gokul's team was set 334 to win. They started off superbly with a 150-run partnership between Gokul and Sangakkara before Sangakkara was the first to fall, followed closely after by Williamson and Gokul himself. So the middle order, they didn't really get any good runs in there, and as you can see from the bowling column, Ambrose and Walsh, that looks so good, right? Ambrose, Walsh and Alan Donald in there. That's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see fantastic bowling from these 3 guys, Walsh, Ambrose and Donald, which we've seen over here. Gopal, is Gokul online? It's past 7 PM of week. Gopal is a cow. I don't know if Samir knows that that Gopal can read this and that this is being recorded. Okay, let's move on. Final game of round 9. This is Jack's Colombo Cougars versus top of the table Tom Allen's Christchurch Cheetahs. Tom with a comfortable lead at 21. If Tom wins this one, then his lead is going to be even more comfortable. Jack really needs a victory to stand a chance of finishing in the top 4 over here, because Greg and Alan are right on his heels. So can Jack win? I doubt it, but let's see. Decently comfortable victory for Cheetahs, which consolidates their lead at the top. And as you can see over here, 600 runs in the first innings was what really killed the game off, because the one and only Brian Lara scoring 240, ably supported by Virat Kohli. We see Imran Khan getting onto the bowling charts for the first time. Azhar Ali as well, for the first time really, with some scores of notes for Jack. 2 centuries for Azhar Ali. Brian Lara actually scored 2 centuries in the game as well, and one of them was a double century. So really fantastic performance by Brian Lara. Of course, he's the player of the match for this match. It looks like these, I'm noticing that the first 3 games, if I go back, the first 3 games are being played at my town park, and the fourth one being played, or it was being played at Wankhede, but this one's also being played in the common, looks like. Let's look to the batting. So Virat Kohli is scoring a century over here. Yeah, Flintoff with his continuous poor performance. It doesn't look like he's going to get any luck in this tournament so far with the ball or the bat. He's been one of the. I think Flintoff's been the worst player so far. I don't know. What do you think? It looks like there's a bit more of a chat going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Flintoff. I don't know if you guys feel like Flintoff is going to bounce back, but so far there's no signs of that happening. And again, Flintoff with 29 runs with the bat only. Jack scored 66. Let's see if that allows him to move past Gokul and Greg above him. Tom's continuing his good performance with the ball. So tight. Could have been a tight game, but it's 100 runs, the victory margin. So 9 rounds done. Let's look at the standings. 8 wins out from 9 for Tom, and 1 win from 9 for Sahir. So things don't look too good for these 2 guys at the bottom. 1 win, 2 losses, and Lions as well looking like they're struggling so far. Let's look at the high score. How many double centuries have we seen? Let's have a look. So Saeed Anwar scored 1. Sangakkara probably scored more than 1. I don't think this tells us that he scored 5 centuries. So he might have scored 2 double centuries. Chandrapal, Lara, double century, Ponting, Warner, Smith, Langer. I have a feeling Langer scored 2 as well. Cook, I don't remember Cook scoring too many runs. Yeah, he scored 2 centuries, that's it. But probably both of them are quite big. Williamson was doing really good earlier. He was close to the top of the charts, but doesn't look like he's in the top 7, 8, 9 anymore. He's yet to hit 1,000, and that's it. And then Gavaskar is one of the top run scorers, but he hasn't scored a double century yet. So let's sort this by runs and see where Gavaskar is. Gavaskar is the 3rd highest run scorer, still hasn't scored a double century. Whereas Kane Williamson, where is he? Kane Williamson is not even in the top chart. He's probably 10th, 12th, 14th. He was the guy who we thought was going to challenge Rahul Dravid at the top, who continues to remain at the top. And let's look at our 4 Merton boys. Have you seen Greg? Because Gokul is here at 922. Okay, so Greg's actually trailing Gokul by a good 50-60 runs over here. Gokul's taking the lead. Greg, number 2. Samir, number 3. Where is Jack? If you missed Jack, you might have missed Jack. Jack Ailing. So Gokul, Jack. I didn't expect Jack to be already above Greg. So 3 runs ahead of Greg. So that means that Sameer's actually on 4. So Sameer at 815 at 4, and Gokul at 922, 100 runs ahead at 1. So it's not an unsurmountable lead. Sameer could still, all 4 of them stand a chance of finishing this tournament as highest run scorer from Merton. Bowling, I don't like Nathan Lyon at number 1. I hope he does not continue. But this is only because Rob doesn't want to give start bowling. That's why Rob's got 36 wickets of his own. Intini's got 39. Muralitharan picked up how many wickets was it? I think 14 wickets in the game. Stark has fewer wickets than Greg has. I don't know if Greg has a wicket, but Stark definitely has 0. Should we check quickly? Let's check how many wickets does Greg have. Greg has been giving himself quite a bowl. How do we check for Greg quickly? Perth, Greg Gunawardena. Let's check by Greg. Greg Gunawardena. Let's look at Greg's bowling stats again, shall we? Greg Gunawardena. No wickets. 204 balls. That's I think about 36 overs. 178 for 0. So, well, yeah, he's been giving himself 4 overs a game, right? And it's been 9 games so far. So that's 36. But that's fine, Greg. I think because if you know, Saurav Ganguly used to do the same for India. Saurav Ganguly never really had. This was actually probably when Azharuddin was captain. But Saurav Ganguly used to open the bowling for India and bowl 3 overs, 4 overs, 5 overs, and that's it. And he used to open the bowling with Srinath, or maybe sometimes it was Venkatesh Prasad. But that often happened that India had 3 spinners and 1 fast bowler in Srinath. So they needed someone to bowl with the new ball, and that was Gunawardena. So Gunawardena is equal to Ganguly, makes sense. Ganguly equal to Ponting, we saw that yesterday, and hence proven Gunawardena, Ganguly, Ponting. I agree. Round 10. So we're into double figures now. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 5 rounds left. Middle of the table. So this game is Greg versus Jack. Both of them have won 3, drawn 5, and lost 5, and both of them are on 9 points. So this one is going to be, it's really going to make or break the top 4 for one of them. I can't see Cougars and Boomers. They're so alike in every respect. Their logo is also exactly the same. So let's simulate. Actually, let's think. Who do we think is going to win this? Cougars. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say. I have a feeling Jayawardena is gonna win the game for Jack. Let's see. 18 runs. Okay, I have to see this. 18 runs. Jayawardena century. Yes. Low scoring game. Actually, the highest score was in the 4th innings. Greg's team made a very valiant 480. But obviously, Greg's first innings has let them down because they conceded a lead of about 170 runs. Muralitharan with 7 wickets. Again, Glenn McGrath, fantastic bowling performance. We would love to see those numbers. 5 for 57 look so good. Let's have a look at Jayawardena's second innings as well, and let's see if any luck from Samakara. And let's look at how our boys Jack and Greg got out as well. So first innings, Jack made a century. I think that probably will move Jack to the top. Let's see if the others have done as well. But Jack century, long partnership with Jayawardena. Muralitharan with 4 wickets in this innings. And the way Pat Cummins and Hazelwood are bowling, I don't think Mitchell Stark should be bowling anyway, because Cummins and Hazelwood have been pretty terrible. You can see pretty bad batting performance. They had a century stand in the beginning, but after being 108 for 0, collapsing to 276. Looks like Jaisuriya, Imran Khan, they all chipped in with Jimmy Anderson getting the early breakthroughs of to Aziz at the top. Yeah, we can spread around. So second innings, Jack 23. I think McGrath got him out in both innings. Let's look at Jack's first innings. Jack caught Steve Smith, bowled Glenn McGrath in the first innings, and in the second innings, LBW Glenn McGrath. Not a bad person to get out to Jack, so that's fine, I would say. Yeah, I love this score. 557. No wickets again for Cummins, so honestly the three Australian fast bowlers are having a torrid tournament so far. At least Stark's making some runs with the bat. 480, this is, I wonder what the target was. What is the target? Can we calculate that? So 170 lead plus this thing, so about 500, right? So obviously it's 480 plus 18, 500 is the target. So 500 target and they made 480. We were so close with Pumas. Let's quickly again look at the fourth innings and see how close they got. Thank you, Greg. So first wicket 32, that was Greg himself falling. Rob, I don't think you're going to get Stark a ball, but I don't think that's a good idea giving him a ball anyway. We'll keep on ting. So we lost, Greg lost 2 wickets for 56, but then there was a double century partnership between Smith and Khawaja. But then after Smith and Khawaja fell, wickets fell in a heap, or they kept falling at regular intervals. 277, 310, 319, 388. So 388 for 6. They still needed about 110 to win, 4 or 5 wickets in hand. And I guess we'd feel bad for them because at 4th 29 they needed 70 more to win with 4 wickets in hand. But Jaisuriya got some good wickets at the end. Muralitharan scoring 33 not out for the last wicket partnership with Glenn McGrath, but Captain Jack getting the run out himself to win the game. And this is a really pivotal victory for Jack, because I have a feeling that because of this game, Jack is going to end up ahead of Greg in the overall leaderboard at the end of the tournament. Game number 2, top of the table. Let's skip this one. Let's not do this one now. Let's do that later. Let's try and simulate number 3, which is Samir says he should not be selected as first bowler. Maybe he will bowl then Stark. I know what that means. Tigers versus Leopards. This is Sahib, who's only won 1 game, versus his good friend Samir, who has won 4 games. Samir with Pakistani passion over here. Let's see if the West Indian flair can beat them. It's actually interesting to see what happened here. So I think Sahir's had quite a few very narrow losses, and maybe a couple of draws as well, which is a bit unfortunate for him. Leopards needed that victory to keep up with Rob Jordan, because Rob has moved to number 4, tied with Samir because of this victory. So 1 wicket victory for Samir. Let's see what happened. Not a great start by Sahir, 260. Samir gets a lead of 130 because of a fantastic performance by Sehwag. But he loses a lot of that in the second innings by conceding 456 with absolutely fantastic batting performance by Dhoni, 224. So I think that's another double century, is what brings Dhoni up to the top 10, maybe 15 batsmen. Good to see Dhoni making some runs. So the target that the Leopards had to chase was 328. and Josh Butler looks like the one who's got them over the line, which would indicate that there was a bit of a collapse. So let's see what happens. Let's go innings by innings into this one. First innings, Ganguly with a duck. Yeah, like we said, poor overall batting performance. Stokes the only one making some good runs. Sahir himself with a half century. Samir maybe taking some good advice from his seniors, his elders, and not giving himself that much of a ball, which probably helped get Sahir's team all out to 265. A very good bowling performance by Samir's team. And then after Sehwag's batting over here and the good lead that they got, Samir would have been very confident. You can see Josh Butler with a 50 in both innings. The second innings batting for Trinidad, 75 for 4, 145. From 140 for 5, they ended up at 456. 300 for 8, they made 456. And that is because of Courtney Walsh at 63 not out, supporting Dhoni. So without that, I don't think Sahir would have gotten anywhere close. So Courtney Walsh has done quite well with the bat over here. And again, Samir, just the 6 overs. Let's see how many runs. Let's go back a bit. Let's go back to the first innings. Let's go back and see. So we saw Sahir scored 59. Let's see how many runs Samir made. Samir made 13. Sahir in the second innings made 30. And now let's look at the fourth innings. So 328, I think it was the target for Samir. And his team scored it with 1 wicket in hand. So 29 for 1, 65, 79 for 3. So 136 for 5, 155 for 6. From 155 for 6, you would not think that Samir would be able to win this game. But I think this is a magical performance by Josh Butler. 50 in the first innings and 100 not out in the second innings. To win the game, that would have been a lot of pressure, one would imagine, on Josh Butler, with the likes of Walsh and Ambrose, as you can see in the bottom half, and Donald steaming in against Josh Butler. So it's an unfortunate loss for Sahir. I think that means he's played 10, won only 1. And again, you can see his last 3 bowlers picking up the wickets. But really, the real loss for Sahir is Carlos Brathwaite, who's lost all confidence, who's lost all form. And with Andre Russell, the two of them haven't really contributed with the ball in any way. I think they've both made a few runs here or there, but absolutely nothing with the ball. So Sahir, as you can see, is really missing a spin bowler. He's got 7 bowlers, all 7 of them are medium pace fast bowlers. I don't think any of us really noticed this or called this out earlier, but Sahir is missing a spin bowler, and as we've seen in this tournament so far, spin is what's winning games for every team. If Sahir did have one spin bowler in there instead of perhaps Russell or Brathwaite, things might have been different. But then again, you could blame Gokul for stealing Sahir's team. Panthers lines. Oops, I don't fix it. So the victory of the Panthers moves Panthers up ahead, and it's been a really tight battle between Rob and Samir for that 3rd place spot. And what allowed Panthers to win? Let's have a look. So Panthers with a huge lead in the first innings, making Allen's Lions follow on, lead up to 50 in the first innings, but Allen's team really fought back in the second innings with a really strong performance from a few players. Bairstow and Cook with a century, probably were a couple of other centuries in there as well because they made 657. Yeah, I'm thinking. Let's see if Stark got a bowl, and if he didn't, why. You can see Allen's so reliant on Vettori over here. Hazelwood with 3 wickets. I think this is probably Hazelwood's one of the performances that he's really made some contribution to the team. He hasn't done too much to the team. Once again, Sachin with 73 is one of the regular success stories for Allen, but not much consistency from the others besides that. Even though matches were 81, that's not really enough for a team that has ambitions of finishing in the top. Obviously no Mitchell Stark, he is a wicketkeeper in this tournament, but really doesn't look like he needed them because there's been good bowling performances from all of them over here, getting Rapal Shala for 232. The problem was in this innings. And there's the second innings, Callis with 100 for 0. And then finally, 1 versus 2. Tom versus Gokul. Tom has a 6-point lead at the top. If Gokul wins, Gokul moves up to 21. And then you could say it's a 2-man horse race. However, if Tom wins this one, then Tom's pretty much running away with the tournament, and then it's a battle for second spot between Gokul, Sunir and Tom Jordan. Any predictions before we simulate this one? What do we think is going to happen? Tom's Cheetahs versus the Jaguars. I have a feeling that I want Gokul to win this one to keep the competition really alive, but I think, I agree with you, Greg. I think Cheetahs will win this one. I think the Cheetahs have a bowling lineup which is really strong and a batting lineup which we've seen in this tournament has been consistent. Williamson, I think, is going to be the match winner from the batting side for the Cheetahs. I was wrong. So this makes this really opens up the top of the league. The victory by Gokul. It doesn't change the lineup yet, but it brings things closer. No runs of note from Ken Williamson. Really, the real standout performance was Gokul's first innings score of 700. Gokul's team's first innings score of 755. So you wouldn't imagine after the Cheetahs scored 583. And then declared that they would concede a lead of over 170 runs in the first innings. And then after their second innings score of 423, it was easy sailing for Gokul in their fourth innings. Nothing of note from the bowling side. Really the standouts are Gilchrist, Kapil and Pujara. So it'll be interesting to see how the 755 was built. So let's see firstly Tom's first innings, 200 runs. What does that mean? That means they were 240 for 4, 400 for 5. I don't know why they declared in the first innings so early. Gilchrist 200. You don't want to declare after that, right? Because Gilchrist, he can really score some big runs after that. And Jadeja, I think we've seen that Jadeja has a very strong batting average. So they could have had. It's surprising that they declared at this stage. They could have had a much better performance, much higher score. Gokul himself scores 30, but yeah, that's how they scored 755. There's 4 centuries over there. Sangakkara 126, Williamson 100, which is good, and Pujara 160. Pujara stepping up for the first, not the first time. He's had a good tournament, I would say. Pujara. Yunus Khan's the one who's been a disappointment. But Kapil Dev. So let's look at the fall of wickets. So 6. Where did Kapil Dev come in? So they were 356 for 5. And then Kapil Dev really destroyed the game. 230 runs. Good bowling Tom Allen, because Tom got Kapil Dev out, which is not an easy thing to do. It looks like Tom has gotten 3 wickets in the game, including that of Gokul. I would like to see the replay of that. I think we can see a replay. I have a feeling that Gokul edges it to Gilchrist. It was a thin nick, but Gokul stands his ground. Gokul stands his ground and he decides not to walk, and Tom is furious, and the umpire is a bit confused, so the umpire doesn't get out. And I have a feeling that this went to DRS, and Tom took the DRS, and the decision was overturned, and Gokul was given out. I wonder if Gokul heard that nick. But who knows? Who knows if Gokul has heard that nick or not. Okay. Easy victory at the end for him after that first innings mauling. So Rob and Samir are trying to figure out how Stark can bowl. I don't think there's any way that Stark can bowl now, because it seems like the lineups have been set, because we have made some changes in the half time. We've made changes in Alan's team, we've made changes in Greg's team, we've made changes in Rob's team, and we've made changes in Tom's team. It looks like none of them have come into effect. So it looks like the game has saved the batting lineups before the tournament has begun. So unless we actually play a game, we're going to have to play without any changes. Round 11, actually let's look at the standings, because there's only 4 rounds left. Let's look at. Oh, I didn't realize Sangakkara with a strong lead at the top. Sachin coming into the top 5. Let's look at our boys. Jack, number 1. Jack looks like he's going to be the first to 1,000 runs. Coco's right behind him and Greg's right behind him. So the 3 of them are really neck and neck and neck. Where's Samir? Samir, 828. So slightly behind Samir. But he can still catch up. What about Sahir? Let's see what Sahir is. Sahir 562, so he's quite a way behind the other 4. Yeah, Rob, I wasn't worrying about beginning again, don't worry. Should be the bowling. Yeah, I think if I do begin again, I'll reduce Nathan Lyon's bowling stats to somewhere in the 70s, because there's no way Nathan Lyon should be getting as many wickets as he is right now. Probably the only reason he is getting these wickets is because of the number of balls he's bowled, and that's because Mitchell Stark isn't getting the ball. So Nathan Lyon bowled 4,000 balls in this tournament, got 73 wickets. Looks like he might be able to get 100 wickets in the tournament. 100 wickets in 14 games would be quite an achievement. Yet bowling average of 40. I want to see Sahir's bowling stats. I want to see Rob and Tom's bowling stats. Is there anything else you guys want to see while I load that up? I'm going to see Sahir versus Rob versus Tom. Oh yeah, Rob's over here, 40 wickets. Bowling average of 43. Tom, 34 wickets with bowling average much better at 36. Where is Sahir? Because Sahir actually has the best bowling stats, or at least the best overall stats between 3 of them. Yeah, his side's been struggling, bowling average of 53, only 18 wickets. So he's struggling, and let's see what Samir's up to. Has he gotten any good wickets? So Samir, bowling average of 107. I think smart enough decision by Samir to stop giving himself a bonus. Makes sense actually. Just bowl a couple of overs in the middle, like someone like Joe Root would. Round 11, I think. So 4 more rounds to go. Let's simulate this one. Rob versus Greg. So Greg is going to open the bowling and Mitchell Starc is not going to open the bowling in this game. Let's see what happens. Looks like Greg has gotten some good wickets opening the bowling for his team. I wonder if Greg has actually got any wickets. Let's see. But this doesn't change the rank for either of them, for Panthers at least. Actually does move Greg ahead of Allen. So 200 run lead for Rob in the first innings, but then in the second innings Rob scores only 200, which means that there's a chase of 400 odd for Greg, which surprisingly they get very comfortably. Greg himself scoring a century in the fourth innings to win the game for his team, but that's a really good batting performance in the fourth innings. Nathan Lyon picking up 7 wickets, but really going for a lot of runs. 4 plus 1, 5 wickets for NT. 10 wickets for Muralitharan, so that battle is still not over yet. Muralitharan still right behind Nathan Lyon. It's good to see Jacques Kallis getting some runs at the top, and in the second innings, although really Rob's downfall in this match was the lack of some runs from his batsmen in the second innings. 210 was never going to be a good enough score. So look at the first innings. Kallis the only real performer in the first innings. Muralitharan with some good wickets. So good Greg, 0 wickets for Greg. First innings for Greg's team. Greg scored just 19, bowled through the gates by Nathan Lyon. Nathan Lyon picks up 5 wickets in the game. Yeah, no, I think this is your downfall, Rob. That you were 4 for 42 in the second innings. Unfortunately, Graham Smith got out first ball. He faced Jacques Kallis trying to hold the fort, but not really enough for Jacques Kallis. Let's see how many runs Mitchell Starc got in the first innings. 8 runs, second innings 3 runs. So Mitchell Starc not really doing what you would expect of a good number 8 wicket keeper. Greg, I think this is the most expensive that Greg has been in his opening spell, conceding 13 runs in his opening spell. Glenn McGrath only bowled 8 overs, whereas Cummins has bowled 10 and gone for quite a few runs. Looks like Jason Holder is a placeholder. Jason Holder has not really been required to do much with the ball in this game. So sad result for Rob. Bottom of the table, fantastic clash. Sahir versus Allen. So Allen's got 3 victories, Sahir's got 1. Let's see if Sahir can actually get a second victory. So let's see if the Tigers can win this. Second victory for the Tigers. They have been unlucky. They've been losing by some really close margins. The Tigers, so Dhoni with the second double century, 2 games in a row with a double century, that allows Tigers to score 480. They have a 300 run lead with Ben Stokes getting some good wickets in the ball, 4 for 17. 300 run lead, but the Lions then scored 427, but it was never going to be enough because the Tigers only had 130 odd to chase, which they were able to get quite comfortably. It's a very valiant effort by Alistair Cook with his second double century of the tournament so far. Sachin Tendulkar also making some good runs in the tournament. Let's run through the scorecard over here. Dhoni's and Boucher switched. What is Boucher? Oh, Dhoni's made some good runs, right? So, yeah, no, I don't think so. Well, apparently Dhoni's a better batsman than who Steve Waugh. Steve Waugh hasn't done anything in this tournament, so maybe that's a good thing. that Dhoni's stats aren't that high. So Dan Vittori's been continuing his decent form with the bat, but obviously this was a real disappointment for Allen with only 180 runs in this one. 0 runs for Gavaskar out first ball. Allen himself out first ball. Let's have a look at Sahir himself. Sahir gets some runs, 22 in his first innings, and in his second innings, Sahir gets. He doesn't really need to bat in the second innings. What about Sahir's bowling? 2 for 87 and 1 for 26. So decent performance, but it's good seeing Ben Stokes contributing with the ball. They're all tail-enders. They're all tail-enders for him, but it's still a good thing to get rid of tail-enders. In fact, the two tail-enders that he did get out, Vettori and Matthews, were the highest scorers in his innings. Okay, let's play this one. This is a good game. I think these weren't the two early favourites. I think Samir was the early favourite. Tom was probably third favourite behind Samir and Gokul. But let's see what happens in this game. If Samir wins, that will move him up to 19 points and ahead of Tom. Yeah, but that's not going to happen. So 27 points for Tom. I don't think he's going to be beaten. Easy victory, 200 runs. 2 500 scores, 500 plus scores from the Cheetahs. Tom Latham in the second innings, good contributions by McCullum and Virat in the first innings. Tom Latham's been having a good tournament. I think the good call out over here is Samir Rana 179. Did any of our boys score a double century so far? I don't think so, right? So is this the highest score by a Merton player, 179? Is it? I think it might be. Check man of the match. Man of the match is Shoaib Rana. Samir calling for his mother. Oh yeah, that's because Samir scored 78 in the second innings as well. So yeah, really good batting performance. So Samir, if I remember correctly, was about 300 runs behind Greg and Gokul and Jack. But with this one, he scored almost 300 in this game. So if he continues this, there's only I think 3 games left. But Samir has a chance of finishing top run scorer. How did Baz not win that? Because Samir scored more runs. But yeah, Baz's team did win the game more comfortably. But Samir actually got 2 wickets. Wow. We never imagined that would happen. But Samir got 2 wickets in the first innings. So consolation. Let's look at how many wickets Samir got in both the innings. So he got Gilchrist and Langer out. 3 centuries. Lara, Kohli, McCullum. So really strong performance by Cheetahs in the 4th innings. Samir 2 for 58. This is the most number of overs he's bowled, 13 overs. Mohammad Amir, not really. Yeah, I think the good thing for Samir in the first half, I think the first few games, was Ravi Ashwin's performance. Yeah, Ravi Ashwin was getting a lot of wickets. He was close to the top, if not the top for a while, but now he's been languishing somewhere in the middle. 0 for 148. Samir 179. So what is the score? Yeah, look at that, 156 for 7. And then Samir and Mohammad Amir have a really good partnership. Samir bowled by Saudi, caught by Gilchrist, trying to flick it. Second innings, did Samir get any wickets? Yes, he did. Samir got 1 wicket in the second innings as well. So Samir gets 3 wickets and the same number of runs, or probably more than McCullum. Probably why. But how many catches did McCullum get? McCullum. Yeah, no catches from McCullum. So, but is McCullum the keeper for Cheetahs? No, McCullum is not the keeper, right? Gilchrist is the keeper, or Latham, I don't know. Another one of them is the keeper. Okay, anyway, close call for the man of the match between Kallam and Samir, but Samir gets that one. And then the final game is Jack versus Gokul, the two opening batsmen for the first 11 of Merton for last year, and these two guys are the top two batsmen so far in this tournament from the Merton side as well. Gokul really needs a win to keep up the chase. Otherwise, I think you could say that it's almost game over if Gokul does not win this. Okay, so Gokul's kept the chase up. Gokul wins quite comfortably against Jack. Jack's looking. It looks tough for Jack to finish in the top 4 now, but it's not impossible. If Jack's playing Samir, then maybe Jack has a chance. So let's see how many runs Gokul and Jack themselves got. So Yunus Khan, we said he didn't do too much with the bat so far, but he has a good first innings where there's 400 runs made by the Jaguars. Pretty even in the first innings with Jack himself scoring 140, but then the second innings is where Gokul's team really won the game with 678 with runs by Williamson and Sangakkara. Sangakkara is the highest scorer in the tournament. Valiant effort, I think. Good fight back from Jack's team at the end with Azhar Ali and Mendes both scoring some good runs. It's good to see Azhar Ali and Mendes in the middle making some runs despite the really strong batting that they have around them besides these two guys. Chaminda Vas with 3 wickets. I don't think Kapil Dev contributed as much as he would have liked to, because Kapil Dev has been doing really well for Gokul so far, but they didn't really need him. I think this is one of the first times we've seen Jimmy Anderson with 4 wickets. I don't think Jimmy Anderson's even gotten 5. So let's run through the third innings. I want to see how 678 was scored. 678 has 3 centurions: Yunus Khan, Williamson and Sangakkara. So Yunus Khan with 130 in the second innings and 93 in the first innings. So close to 240 runs, 225 runs. It's a good outing for Yunus Khan. And that's what pushed him over the line. Leaderboard after 11 games, 3 more games to go. 8, 10 and 12 points at the bottom for Tigers, Lions, Pumas. Still can be some movement over there, so it's not all lost for these guys. They don't want to finish last, but anyone can finish last and anyone can still finish first. Let's see if I guess this is Sangakkara, right? So yeah, Sangakkara with almost 200 run lead at the top, ahead of Dravid. And let's look at our batsman and where Samir is now. Yeah, so Jack scored a century, which means he is the first probably to score 1,000 runs. But what this means is that Samir, with his 200 plus runs in the last match, moves up to second. So Samir, congratulations. You are currently the second highest run scorer for Merton, even though you're 2 runs ahead of Greg. And Gokul is about 100 runs behind you guys. So good stuff from Samir and Jack in this last match. It's good to see Dhoni here as well. He's moved up. I can see that hard work from Samir. Brian Lara's only had 19 innings, so Christchurch has been winning by some really easy margins. Otherwise, Brian Lara might have been closer to. Looks like he might have scored at least 200 runs more, closer to 1600 if he'd batted 22 innings. I don't like the likes of Nathan Lyon in this one, and he's going to win it. Round 12, all 13, 14, 3 to go. So what interesting games do we have here? Any predictions for this round? What do you think is going to happen? Any interesting games? Anyone who you think should win, can win, might win, should not win? This is a good one for good chance for Rob to cement his third position. Oh, this is the big one, right? This is what we were talking about. I think this is the big game. This is Jack's real chance of finishing the top 4. Jack really needs to win this game. So let's play this game last and see what happens. Let's play this one. So let's play the 2 opening batsmen for Saturday seconds for a while. It's Gokul versus Greg. Gokul has 24 points, Greg has 12, so twice as many points. And I can't see Greg's team beating Gokul over here. Or can I? I couldn't see it coming, but it has come, which means that Greg has moved up to 5, and currently he's ahead of Jack. So we were just talking about Jack trying to finish in top 4, but Jack's currently 6th. Good victory, easy victory for him, for Greg over here. Quite a tight first innings. 350 from each team pretty much. Ricky Ponting, Sangakkara, fine. Same guys. No centuries in the first innings for either team. Kapil Dev, again, stellar bowling performance. Muralitharan, 8 wickets in the game. Chaminda Vas, 3 wickets in the game. So, again, nothing really to separate the two in the first innings. There we go. I think Greg will be really happy because he had a word with Mark Boucher, and as you can see, Greg and Mark Boucher together had a fantastic partnership in the middle. And after Greg departed, Mark Boucher continued that assault, and Boucher scored 162 runs, and that is actually what allowed Greg to beat one of the favourites in Gokul. So well done Greg, and well done Boucher for the third innings over here in the game, because that's what has won the game for the Pumas. And in the end it was quite comfortable because the Jaguars only managed to make 246 when they were chasing 500. Glenn McGrath with another really good looking statistics over there, 3 for 19. Gokul Krishna made 66, so he's still trying to keep up with Sameer and Jack. Let's look at the batting. So Greg was out, bowled by the best bowler in the world, so no shame getting out to Chaminda Vas. Mark Boucher with a 50 in the first innings. That's an important thing to note. So Steve Waugh again, 73. We haven't seen too much of Steve Waugh in this tournament. We haven't seen too much of Dale Steyn in this tournament either. So 0 wickets for Dale Steyn. Nor have we seen much of Bumrah, with just 1 wicket. But I don't think we expected that much of from Bumrah. Gokul just 2 runs. I think that might harm him, and also what will harm him is the middle order performance. Pujara, Yunus Khan, Rahane so strong on paper, but they haven't done anything. You see some good performances from the lower order in this tournament. You've seen Courtney Walsh scoring a 50, Dale Steyn scoring a 50 over here. This is Greg's most expensive opening bowling spell so far, 17 runs in his 2 overs. Good choice for him to take himself out of the attack. Not surprising that he did. Let's look at this is interesting. So this is the second innings. This is what won the game for Greg. Let's look at the fall of wickets. 249 for 6. From there to score another 200 runs, that was Jason Holder giving company to Boucher to allow that to happen. Good stuff by Boucher. About average for Greg. Not really, because if you look here, right, Greg's in this tournament, Greg has been bowling quite okay. He's been going for about 10 runs in his 2 over spells. And here he's gone for 8 runs. So Greg's a better bowler than we give him credit for. I don't know what happened here. He's decided to under bowl Glenn McGrath and over bowl Jason Holder for some reason. Jason Holder hasn't been bowling that much that I can recollect. Let's play this game later. Kuku's Leopards. Let's go to Cheetahs Lions. Yeah, I can't see anything but a victory for Tom against Allen. So Tom Allen, one of them is going to win. 300 runs victory for Tom. Exactly the same runs scored in the first inning, 363, 367. But then in the second innings, Tom scored 553, which means that this put huge pressure on the Lions in the fourth innings. Sachin and Gavaskar and Fruit and Cook, the four of them had scored 500 runs, but they were never going to do it, and they collapsed at only 250, which means that Tom wins by a huge margin of 300 runs. From the bowling perspective, let's see, Daniel Vittori's done okay, Tim Southee has done okay, which means that Trent Boult hasn't really done much in this game. From the batting perspective, the really good thing to see over here, and I don't know if Allen is still with us right now, he's departed, but Allen himself has scored a century, so that's fantastic. New boy Allen hasn't yet played for Merton. I think many of you haven't seen Allen yet, but he's a good boy, and he scored a century over here, captaining his team, giving them a 4-run lead in the first innings, despite some really threatening bowling from Tom Allen. So yeah, Gilchrist with his 200 runs, I don't know why Saudi would be man of the match, because 550 was never going to be chased. The victory really is because of Gilchrist with his 200 runs in the second innings. So let's look at the scorecard. Nothing really here. Is there anything to see? Not much to see here. Allen with 1 wicket. This is Allen's breakthrough performance. So 177 for 7 and 367 all out. So 200 runs for the last 3 wickets. And that is Stuart Broad and Allen batting together for almost a century partnership for the 10th wicket. And it was actually Tom Allen who got Alan Fernandez out. Got bowled Allen was Fernandez. Yeah, this is a huge blow to Trent Boult, who had been bowling so well in the tournament and had been one of the outstanding, I think he was the second best quick bowler behind Kapil Dev and just ahead of Intini and Rob Jordan. But so this will be a blow for him. Let's look at what happened over here with Gilchrist and Lara. 184 for 4, and then almost a 300 run partnership between Gilchrist and Lara. Gilchrist destroying the bowling, 200 runs in 239 balls for Gilchrist. Yeah, and it was always too much for the Lions to chase 550. Alistair Cook. Once Alistair Cook was out in the first over, it was probably the end of the game. Let's do this one. Who's this? Rob versus Sahir. Sahir is on 7. Sahir wins. No, Sahir is on 8. If Sahir wins, he may move up to 7th. But let's see what happens. Well, Sahir has won against Rob, which means Rob really is now fighting for that 3rd place spot. Rob is not going to win this game. Rob conceded a 100-run lead in the first innings, only scored 193, therefore really easy victory for Sahir, chasing down 93 runs in only 17 and a half overs. Who's taken the wickets? Curtly Ambrose. Yeah, good to see Curtly Ambrose. 7 wickets for 52 runs. The bowling average of just over 7 across the match. From batting perspective, Rob Jordan on the batting scorecard himself with a 50. Jacques Kallis with 3 for 60. Good bowling from Sahir over here, 3 wickets in the middle order. Yeah, Courtney Walsh is expensive over here. 6 for 70, 6 for, how much is it? 6 for 7 overs, 47 for 1. Okay, and then the big game. This is the main one for Jack. This is Jack's only chance. Jack versus Samir. So, Samir, if you're there, what do you think? I don't know what you think is going to happen. But this, if Samir wins this, then he goes ahead of Rob. But if Samir loses this, then Jack's right in there in the top 4 finish. I guess it'll be good for Jack to win. Rob obviously wants that because that will consolidate Rob as top 3. A draw would be a dismal result for the two of them. Who do you think is going to win, Samir? I think Samir is going to win. Samir does have a strong lineup and has been consistent throughout the tournament. I didn't expect any other answer from Samir, so he says himself, let's see. Leopards versus Cougars. Will Samir win? Good game, 130 runs, but Samir wins, which means Cougars are stuck at 13 points, close to the bottom. Cougars, if they're not careful, might actually have a chance of finishing last because Sahir has moved up to 7th and Allen is at 8th. But this means, what does this mean for Rob Jordan? So Rob Jordan is a big loser as well from this one because Rob has moved down to 4, 1 point behind Samir on 19 points. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 centurions in the game. Jack Ayling, 2 centuries in the game. I think Jack's running away with the Merton honours. 2 centuries in the game. Rahul Dravid with another century, keeping his hopes alive. I don't know if he's going to really win it, but he's trying. It's good to see Ashwin coming back with 7 wickets in the game. Like I said, he had a good start in the beginning, but not really much of note after that. Anderson as well, he hasn't been showing best of form, but he's got 6 wickets in the game. Let's look at this. This looks like an interesting scorecard. Jack Ayling with a stumping of Sanath Jayasuriya. So the first innings was equal, right? It was Leopards' the second innings that really won it for them. I think Jack's batting a bit low. I think Jack should be at 3 maybe, or 4. Maybe Jayawardene at 3, Jack at 4, Azhar Ali 5, Kushal at 6. Definitely Kushal Mendes should be below Jack. Also Kushal's had a good tournament. Imran Khan with the 50. Chris Gayle hasn't scored big runs, right, in this tournament yet. Nor has Jayasuriya. I think that's been unlucky for Jack because these two are good players that you'd hoped would make a lot of runs. Samir, no wickets over here. How many runs did Samir make in his first innings? Samir on a 4. So let's look at the second innings. Samir 60, Ashwin 60, Wasim 70. is that? Anderson 4 wickets, he said. Again, Jack 140 should be batting higher. Ahead of Mendes. Azhar Ali 17. So unfortunate result for Jack. 500 runs in the last inning is always going to be tough. So 12 rounds done. What are the permutations? Let's have a look. So the only real chance that Tom has of not winning is if he loses both his games. Gokul wins both his games. Then net run rate is 0.12, the difference, which is not unsurmountable. So Gokul needs to win both his games really big, and if one of those is against Tom, then Gokul has a chance. And at the bottom, actually all three of them have a chance of finishing bottom. Theoretically, maybe even Greg has a chance of finishing bottom, but it looks really unlikely. So it looks like it's between Sahir and Alan at the bottom. And what about number 4? So Greg with an outside chance of coming in the top 4 ahead of one of these two guys, Samir or Rob. But it looks like Samir Rob might finish in top 4. Quickly looking at the batting lineup, batting scorecard. Sanakara, Dravid, Smith, Lara, Ponting. Look at our boys. Jack, clear leader. Is the next one Samir? Yes, it's Samir. 15, 1150. What about Gokul versus Greg? So Gokul 1062. Where's Greg? Where's Greg? Did I miss Greg? I miss Greg. Greg, 117. Okay. Round 13. So which game should we play last? We should play Cheetah's game last, because if they win, then they've won. So Cheetahs versus Panthers, we'll play last. Play this one after that, or just before that. Let's play this one at the bottom. Jack versus Lions. If Jack loses this one, then it's pretty much over for Jack in this tournament. So let's play this one. So let's see if Jack can beat the Lions. No, and that's pretty much it for. That's it for Jack. Jack's out of the top 4 reckoning, because Jack is at 13 points and Panthers already 18. So this means that really the only one who can the only one who can come in the top 4 is Greg. It's unlikely that Greg comes in the top 4. Looking at the numbers, that's where we are. So Lions jumping up 2 positions from 8th to 6th with this victory. 6 wickets for Ian Botham. Oh wow, innings and 126 runs. So look at that batting performance by Johnny Bairstow on day 1 of the test match, 286. Alan Fernandez again almost with a century, almost 2 centuries back to back. Really no firepower from Jack's bowling lineup in this game. And really no firepower with the bat either. So really just crumbling 149 in the last innings. Nothing of note. No runs from Jack himself personally, so I think he'll be disappointed with that, because he wanted to win the top, stay at the top. Jack, 4 dismissals for Jack as a keeper, 1 stumping of Sachin Tendulkar. That's something to cherish for a long time. But Johnny Bairstow, obviously the standout over here, 286 not out. With 303 for 7 and 263 for 6 to reach 555 and declare is really good from the Lions. So this is the sort of performance. Let's go back. This is the sort of performance that we wanted to see from the Lions. We thought everything is dependent on their top 4 batsmen, but the top 4 batsmen didn't do anything over here, and Bairstow did, which is good to see. Flintoff again not doing much with the ball. This is where it all went downhill for him. So Ian Botham has gotten Jack out for 8 in Jack's first innings. 3 for 33 for Botham, and then in Jack's second innings, Ian Botham got him out again for 8. So, was it 8? Yeah, 8 for 17 and 8 for 21. So Jack 16 runs, out by Ian Botham twice in the game. Look at this. This one is really. This looks bad, right? 100 for 8, 99 for 7, 115 for 9, 149 all out. What do we do? Tigers, Pumas. So this is Greg, this is your only chance. If you lose this, the top 4 are set. If you win this, we'll see. So, and I think if you lose this, then that means Sahir gets to 14 points. So interesting. Maybe Greg wins this game. Let's see what happens. Yeah, interesting. So Greg has won this game, which means he's pushed Rob. Rob's gone down, and Rob's facing Tom Allen soon. So this is going to be very tight between Rob and Greg for 4th spot. Again, first inning 365 and 385, nothing in between them, and 347. So 329 to win for Greg. The end of the game, and they win it quite comfortably. Make it quite comfortably with Ricky Ponting scoring 123 not out. Sahir himself scoring 85. Good bowling performance from Curtly Ambrose with 5 wickets in the first innings, but obviously the man of the match and outstanding bowler of the game is Muralidharan. 250 runs, 12 wickets in the game for Muralidharan. Greg would be happy with Mark Boucher's performance in the first innings. 92 runs by Mark Boucher, showing that he can hold the bat. Carlos Brathwaite, he needed to make some runs for Sahir. He did. Greg 2 overs 12. Well done, Greg. Yeah, Boucher has scored nothing really after that. Steve Smith 53, Muralidharan 54. So without that, they would have been really struggling because they were 290 for 9. Ended up making close to 400. So Muralidharan's 50 to go along with Muralidharan's 12 wickets. Really, almost a single-handed performance from Muralidharan here. Tom, have a look at the first row here. Greg Gunawardena, 2 overs, 3 runs. I don't know why he didn't continue bowling after this, but he probably should have. Good victory for Greg, moves him up, keeps the table interesting. Leopards vs Jaguars is the game that we're going to play next. This is a grudge game between Samir and Gokul. If Gokul loses this game, then we have crowned our first ever La Coronia Cup or La Copa Coronia champion. We should be Tom. So let's not do this first. Let's do this one first. Let's do Cheetahs vs Panthers. Cheetahs vs Panthers. So Rob versus Tom. Both of you guys, I think, are still watching. Rob needs to win this to put the pressure on Greg, and Tom can afford to lose his game and still have a chance after this. So let's simulate this one. This is really interesting. This is really interesting. This is a good thing for the tournament. Rob has beaten quite comfortably Tom, and Rob has moved up to number 3 in the table. the highest I think he's been in the table. Probably he's been 3 before. So that's really good from Rob. And again, first innings has been quite similar for both the teams. 4:15 was third innings from Tom's team, but I can't understand how they've chased down 462 so comfortably. Graham Smith with not out double century in the fourth innings to chase down the score. Where we don't see Rob in the lineup in this scorecard himself at all. We see Tom at the end with 1 wicket, and Nathan Lyon gets 8 wickets yet again. De Villiers is doing quite well. I think Panthers have a very strong batting lineup, right? Like we've seen. Wow, Tom was 100 for 5, 150 for 6, 200 for 7. But then Richard Hadley not saved because he lost at the end, but gave them a fighting score of 365. Rob Jordan himself getting Richard Hadley out. AB de Villiers decided to bowl because they'd bowled 100 overs, so de Villiers needed 2. Obviously Mitchell Starc is ineligible to bowl, being a wicketkeeper. That's probably a good thing because AB de Villiers has gotten a wicket in his 2 overs. I doubt Mitchell Starc would have gotten that. First innings for Rob. Bits and pieces scores from everyone. Hayden Smith and AB de Villiers. Bits and pieces scores. Where's Rob? Rob scored just 1 run. Who did Tom get out? Looks like Tom didn't get any wicket in this one. Gilchrist with 4 catches in this one, and Tom Latham with 2. Teeny's been making a few runs at the end, so again tail wagging a little bit. So even after the first innings, Hadley nothing. Oh wow! This is really good batting from Virat Kohli. Almost scored a double century. I think he's done decently well. He'd be happy with his performance in this tournament. But after that, there were 213 for 1, and then just collapsed before Gilchrist and Jadeja had a decent partnership in the middle. Rashid with the run out, really, I missed that. Run out Adil Rashid, well done, good catch. Good catch. The 12th man has gotten the run out. But so Graham Smith helping Rob Jordan chase down 462. Absolutely giant 4th innings chase. But these 2 South African legends made it look quite easy, and keeps things interesting in the table because this means that Panthers have moved up to 3, like we said, and Cheetahs are not yet winning this. But this is interesting. Cheetahs have gotten 1 point, which means, Tom, that the Cheetahs are at 31 and the next best Jaguars are at 24. And so it seems like we've had to crown our first ever WFH, Work From Home League champion. Tom Allen has won the tournament with 31 points because of his first innings lead of 4 runs. First innings lead of 4 runs has gotten Tom Allen a single point, bonus point. So that's sad news for Gokul, who's not going to win it. But the chase for second and definitely for the top 4 is still on. But big congratulations to you, Tom. Good team selection all round. Really solid. So this game, Jaguars vs Leopards, really still has a lot of significance. Gokul's not here yet. He's still chatting with his friends in India. It's 1 a.m. But Leopards at 4, Jaguars at 5, at 2. What does that mean for Leopards? So if Leopards lose this, then Greg really has a chance. But if Leopards win this, then Rob is pushed out. Let's simulate. Hang on. There's still another round to go. Yeah, so Jaguars have gone up 27. It's really unfortunate if Jaguars finish at 30 and Cheetahs finish at 31 and Tom wins just by that 1 point. But what this means for Leopards is that the chase for 4th is really wide open. Panthers 21, Leopards 19, Pumas 18. So that's where the fun is. Let's see who finishes in the top 4 because as we all know, the top 4 get to play the Champions League next season. So you've seen the table. So just before the final round, runaway leader with Sangakkara. I don't think Dravid is going to do anything to topple Sangakkara. He's about 150 runs behind him. But let's look at Jack's at 1400. What about others? Greg, I didn't realize Greg has moved up ahead of the other two. So Greg 1216, just 25-30 runs behind him is Samir. And where's Gokul right here? So they're all very close. So anything can happen for the race to second spot. Show the game stats. I don't know what that means. Show the game stats. I think I've been showing game stats for the last 4 hours. Okay. Show the game stats for your game. Okay. 4 hours is a bit too long. Cheetahs, Tigers, right? This one, no. Wait, round 14, not round 14, round 13. Leopard Jaguars, there we are. Yes, Samir, yes, here we go. Okay, 200 run lead and a follow on given by Gokul to Samir. He gives him the follow-on, and then Samir scores 300 runs in the second innings, his team does. But that means that there's only 100 runs that Gokul's team needs to chase down. And the likes of Williamson, Sangakkara, etc. Batting so well for the Jaguars and Gokul himself, it's easy peasy for Gokul, and he chases down the 100 runs with no sweat. Samir, the best bowler in the first innings himself, 3 wickets. 0 for 3 for Samir in the second innings. Gokul with a 60 in the first innings. Pujara with the only century for the Jaguars, and there's 1 century for the Leopards. Jasprit Bumrah 7 wickets. Good to see 7 for 82 across the 2 innings. Let's quickly look through the rest of the stats. Bit of a topple over here. 81 for 6. But then Babar Azam held fort with the rest of them to help them reach 200. But as we know, they had the follow-on handed to them. David Warner 85, Babar Azam with another century, so he's made 200 runs, I think, or 88 plus 112, that's 200 in the game. So good performance from him. But yeah, disappointing from Sehwag. The whole tournament, Sehwag's been okay and Warner's been okay, but they haven't really set the world alight, these two. Saeed Anwar has been a complete disappointment. His stats are better than that, and he is a much better batsman than his performance shows. Bumrah cleaning up the tail, Kapil Dev cleaning up the top. Right, let's look at the bowling stats. Bumrah 4, Kapil Dev 3, Steyn 2. And as you said, easy victory for Gokul. So that keeps stuff open in the middle. So we've seen the batting stats. Now let's look at the bowling stats. Here we go. I love this. Muralitharan and Nathan Lyon are equal. If they finish equal, then I'm going to give the cup to Muralitharan because Nathan Lyon does not do it. He's bowled 5,000 balls. It's close to 1,000 overs if he bowls another 1,000 balls in this whole tournament. Insane, 5,000 balls. Bowling average of 41. What about our other bowlers? Tim Southee 31, still fantastic. Where's Kapil Dev? Kapil Dev 31.73, Tim Southee 31.54. So Tim Southee slightly ahead of Kapil Dev with the best bowling so far. And who else? Glenn McGrath 33. Another fine bowling performance to this tournament. Actually, James Anderson 36. I didn't realize that James Anderson had picked up so many wickets because he's got a good bowling average of 36. So it's good stuff. These four have done really well in the tournament. Where is Trent Bolt? Trent Bolt had a good start as well, right? Where is he? There he is, 45. Yeah, he's. I think he struggled. I guess he struggled after a good start that he had in the tournament. I don't know what this means. BBM. How can this be a number like this? Doesn't make sense. Maybe because it's more than 10 wickets and it doesn't fit in the column width because these guys have both taken more than 10 wickets in a game. The others are all single digit wickets in a game. Rob complaining again about his own captaincy choices. So, can anyone else win the best bowler? Yeah, Ravi Ashwin is not going to win the best bowler unless he picks up a good 15-18 wickets in the game, which is not going to happen. So, good fight by Ashwin and Jadeja to finish in the top 4. Victory, and let's see who finishes as a top fast bowling wicket taker because Intini is currently leading that race, but Southee and McGrath are just behind. It's surprising that Kumble has taken so few wickets because Kumble does have a significantly better rating than Ravi Jadeja and also quite a better rating than Ashwin. So he's been poor. But speaking of poor bowlers, there's no one who's been a bigger disappointment than Tim Nawaz so far. Okay, let's do the last round, and then we look at all the stats all over again, and then we save it. Continue competition, round 14 of 14. This video is almost coming up to 2 hours again, so it's a bit longer than the first one. Then we have to do a debrief. So what game do we play? Cheetahs. Let's do Cheetahs versus Tigers. Let's see if the Tigers win, then they're still in with a chance of not finishing last. But if they don't, then they'll finish last. So let's play this game. Cheetahs Tigers. So unfortunately, Sahir has not managed to have that good a tournament. He finishes with 3 victories, and Tom finishes with 11 victories. Tom has 11 victories and Sahir has 11 points. Decimated them in the last innings. So Cheetahs win by 9 wickets, even though Sahir was Sahir almost got the lead in the first innings before a masterclass from Virat Kohli. It's good to see a score of 144 from Sahir. I think that's Sahir's. It could be match fixing actually. Yeah, it could be. How do you fix the match if Sahir was not the favourite, right? The favourite was him. In fact, Sahir scored 144 in this game. So I don't know if there's match fixing in this particular game, but it could be in other games that there's match fixing. So yeah, 144 for Sahir means, I think that means that 6 of our 8 players, our 8 captains, have scored a century. If I remember correctly, I think Rob, Jordan, and Tom Allen are the only ones who probably have missed out from scoring a century, unless I'm wrong. But Allen has scored one, Sahir has scored one, Samir has scored one, and of course Jack, Gokul, Greg has scored a couple. Yeah, exactly, Samir. How do you do match fixing to lose? So let's run through these scores. The Tigers' second innings, Sahir's second innings was the one that let him down because Jadeja got some good wickets, and Tom Allen himself with a fantastic captain's performance, 347, really ending his competition on a very strong note with 3 wickets. So let's see how Sahir did in this round, because or in this innings, because we know that he scored 144. Ganguly hasn't had a terrific tournament. Chandrapal actually hasn't had a terrific tournament either. Dhoni's performed better than these guys. So really strong batting by Sahir. But if you look at the bowling, it's Jadeja who's destroyed Sahir's batting with 6 wickets. Nothing for Saudi. Saudi was the best fast bowler in terms of bowling average before this, but because of this one, it looks like Kapil Dev might be the best bowler from a fast bowling perspective and bowling average perspective. Trent Bolt has just fallen off the wagon. He's nowhere right now. He hasn't been getting any wickets. Virat Kohli single-handedly, look at that, Virat Kohli 221. The next highest score is McCullum with 42. And then after that, 27, 22, 22, 21, 21. So Virat Kohli, I guess Virat Kohli is what you would say has won Tom this game. From a bowling perspective, Donald Walsh, Ambrose is the bottom. It will be the last time we see this trifecta of Donald Walsh, Ambrose, unless we do a re-tournament without any stats. Ambrose, no wickets. Sahir, no wickets. Stokes, really good bowling. 2 wickets, who did he get out? Stokes got Jadeja and Tom Latham, who's had a good tournament. Tom Latham with the bat. 200 all out. Sahir, just 10 runs in the second innings. Again, a failure from Ganguly and a failure from Chandrapal means that Trinidad have not really had the batting firepower, or their batting is not really clicked at the top. Like we said, captain's performance by Tom, 347. Richard Hadley doing Greg over there, 2 overs, 13, then handing it over to the rest of the bowlers. How much did Richard Hadley do in the first innings? 12 overs, 44 for 2, so a bit more than Greg. Well, that's one game. That's the last game that the Cheetahs and the Tigers are going to play. Cougars, Panthers. Should we do this one? What game should we do next? I think this one, no? Jaguars, Lions. Tell me, we should do Jaguars, Lions next. Then maybe Cougars and Panthers, and then last Pumas and Leopards. Yeah? So, Gokul versus Allen. Boom. Gokul wins, which means that Allen finishes highest of 6. We could move to 7 if Cougars win their game. Ouch, look at that first innings. First innings 140 all out by Allen, and second innings 600 runs from Allen, from the Lions. So they were chasing 734 or 35, and they made 600 in the last innings. So a little too late, Allen, I would say, because you've conceded 200 runs as the lead in the first innings. Kane Williamson with a century and Sangakkara with 120. I think that means that Sangakkara will end up with as the highest run scorer by far. Where's Gokul? Gokul made 193. So this is really interesting for the Gokul Greg Jack clash because 193 is a big score. Vettori has been really good throughout this tournament with the bat and the ball. So good stuff for Vettori. He should be. He is the man of the match, Vettori. Even though they've lost, Vettori with 160 and with 9 wickets. Deservedly man of the match. Kapil 2 for 16 and 2 for 107. Let's see what that does to his bowling average. But I feel like Kapil Dev might be just ahead of Team Saudi in terms of the overall fast bowling statistics. Let's go into this. Jara out for Duck. Gokul out for 18. Let's go back. Vettori 4 wickets. Matthew Fernandez out. Yeah. Nothing from Gavaskar and Sachin over here either. So the top 4. Yeah, Root has had a terrible tournament, right? Because I think Bairstow might have made more runs than Root. We should look deeper at all the stats maybe tomorrow just to see how each player has really done. But yeah, Root's been pretty bad in this tournament. As has Voss in a way. Let's see. So the first innings, first wicket partnership was 200, and then Sangakkara fell, and then Williamson and Gokul continued, and they were 358 for 1, and you wouldn't imagine that that the opposition would have any chance after Gokul scored 550. But they did score 600 in the last inning. So quickly, Vettori 5 wickets. In both nothing here. So let's see how they scored 600. So they scored 600 because of Vettori and Bairstow, which means that they were 259 for 5 and 430 for 6. How did they still score 600? Alan Fernandez himself facing 100 balls, which means that he helped Vettori push on with the runs during the end. Kumble, good to see Kumble with a 5-4. Even though it's for 186 runs, it's good to see Kumble finish with 5 wickets. Right, that 2 for 107 for Kapil Dev right at the top. I think that's what's going to be a question mark on Kapil Dev, whether he's been able to finish top or not. Okay, how many games left? 2 games left. Which is the next game that we said we'd play? Was it Cougars Panthers, right? Cougars Panthers. Yeah, let's do Cougars Panthers. So if the Panthers win this, then they're obviously third, which is a great performance for them. And it looks like they might win this one. No, they don't actually. So Cougars win by 16 runs. This is, I think, one of the tightest games that we've had. This means that Jack's Cougars finish with 16 points ahead, just ahead of Allen's Lions. So the bottom 3 are set. Cougars 6th, Lions 7th, Tigers 8th. Let's see how the score went. So really good first innings lead, 170 runs in the first innings. Follow that up with 400 runs in the second innings for the Cougars, means that they gave the Panthers a target of 570 odd, and you wouldn't really imagine the Panthers getting anywhere close to 570. But once again, it's AB de Villiers who, like Rob has said, has had a fantastic end to this tournament, who's helped them get to 552, and it's really unfortunate that they've missed out by just 16 runs because that would have sealed third spot for Rob. So Rob hasn't yet sealed third spot. There's still one game to go, which could change a lot of things in the middle. So let's look at the scorecard again. Callis 100, Imran Khan 133. It's good to see Imran over there. Khan, that is. Jack Ailing 83, which would mean, I think, that Jack finishes top of the batting lineup from Burton. Callis 2 wickets in each innings, and Lyon with 9 wickets. I don't like that because because Muralitharan has played this game itself, and Muralitharan doesn't seem to be anywhere in here. So, uh, Lion with 9 wickets. He was on 90 wickets before this. Means Lion finishes with 99 wickets as the highest wicket taker in the tournament. Jack 96, Kushal 113, Azhar Ali, good to see him scoring some runs, 127. Good score of 473. Lion with 5 wickets has really run through them. Callis with the only real score of any note. Love to see Flintoff bowling to Callis once again, wouldn't you? Jack's really spread out his bowling a lot over here. Malinga's only bowled 6 overs, Anderson's only bowled 8 overs. I really shared the bowling with the spinners. Jasuria has probably bowled a bit more than he should have, and Warren hasn't repaid those who wanted to see their betting money come back from Warren. AB de Villiers bowling 2 overs for 9 runs. And I think this is again one of the really valiant efforts from AB de Villiers. 233 in the final innings. He might have been one of the last batsmen to get out, who knows. Mitchell Stark again with a really good batting performance, along with Rob Jordan, who seems like Rob Jordan again tried to put in a captain's knock. They lost by only 15-18 runs or so. So from 414 for 7, in fact 229 for 6. They scored another 320 runs after that, and at 229 for 6 you wouldn't have imagined that they'd get anywhere close, but AB de Villiers, being the batsman that he is, has helped them reach the score of 552. And that means that we've got just one more game to simulate, and that is the Pumas versus the Leopards. Now what this means is that if the Leopards win, Samir's Leopards are 3rd and Rob's Panthers are 4th. If the Pumas win, that means Rob is 3rd, Greg is 4th, and Samir is 5th. So what we know is that Rob is in the top 4, and it's a question of Leopards versus Pumas. This game decides who finishes in the top 4 and gets to play the Champions League next season. So I'd love to watch the whole game. I could play the game by pressing X, but I don't want to. So let's simulate. No. I think Greg, if you're still watching, Greg, congratulations. Greg was last or 7th for pretty much the entire second half. And with this victory, Greg finishes 3rd. Joint 21 points with Rob, who's on 4th. 1 point ahead of Samir, who we thought was one of the pre-tournament favourites, but ends up on 20 points. So that's really unfortunate for Samir, but good result for Greg. It's a very tight result, 50 runs only. In fact, Samir's team had a lead of 40 runs after the first innings, and they only this is interesting because Samir only had to chase down 230 in his 4th innings, and they couldn't do it. Ricky Ponting scoring about 200 in the game. Glenn McGrath is who's won it for Greg. Glenn McGrath's taken 9 wickets. Or Muralitharan plays for Greg. Now I realize this. He's taken 5 wickets. So still less than or fewer than Nathan Lyon's 9 wickets, which means Muralitharan finishes on 95, Nathan Lyon finishes on 99 wickets. Glenn McGrath 9 wickets. Glenn McGrath may be close to the best fast bowler in the tournament. Last match, let's run through this. Greg only made 11 runs. Ricky Ponting and Steve Smith, two fantastic batsmen. Really, the only good light for these guys over there. After being 226 for 2, they were all out for 349. Samir with a single wicket. Shoaib Akhtar with 3. Shoaib Akhtar's name hasn't come up either, right? Much. Shoaib Akhtar 3 wickets. Said Anwar with the 50. I think he scored a 50 in the second innings as well. But Joss Butler with his second big century means that this allowed Samir's team to score a lead of about 40 runs in the first innings. Samir himself getting out clean bowled by Glenn McGrath for 19 runs. Greg Ganavardhana 2 over 7. Good bowling from Greg, well done. Standout bowler was Glenn McGrath, 64 runs, 5 wickets. Greg failed in the second innings. That means probably Greg is third or maybe even fourth in the batting table. From Merton, Steve Waugh 46. First time again we're really seeing much from Steve Waugh. I don't think he's made many runs. Boucher gets back to his level. And this is a disappointing one for Samir. This is what pushed Samir out of the top 4, which is a place that he'd been in, I think, throughout the tournament. He'd been in the top 4, but he gets pushed to number 5 because he couldn't chase 230 odd in the 4th innings at the local town park against the Perth Panthers. So 141 for 1, which means they needed about 90 runs with 9 wickets in hand. But they lost 9 wickets for 44 runs. 9 wickets for 44 runs, Samir's team lost. And it's Glenn McGrath who's really done the damage. But again, Samir's team lost 9 wickets for 44 runs. They lost the game by 30-40 odd. Samir's team should have really won this. Boucher with 4 catches. Butler, no runs. Samir, unfortunately, no runs. It's sad to look at this after the first 3 batsmen. What the scores look like over here. Just a single person scored double digits outside of the top 3, and that's just 11 from Samir. And so that is that. That is our tournament. Congratulations to Tom. Let's quickly look at the standings. Tom Allen's Cheetahs 34 points. Jaguars Gokul 30. Greg's Pumas 21. Late entry. Rob's Panthers again doing quite well in the second half and finishing with 21. Just creeping outside of the top 4 is Samir's Lahore Leopards at 20. And then Cougars Lions following after with the Tigers by Sahir right at the bottom. So who do we think has won the batting lineup? I'm pretty sure it is Sangakkara. Let's have a look. Yeah, 2000 runs by Sangakkara. Ricky Ponting pips Rahul Dravid. I didn't see that coming, but he has. And Williamson was really close. Williamson and Dravid started off the league as the top 2. But yeah, you can't argue with any of these 5, can you? Sangakkara, Ponting, Dravid, Williamson and Smith as the top 5 batsmen. The really outstanding performance obviously is Jack Ayling. So Jack Ayling has a batting statistic of 81. You have Virat Kohli at 92, you have Gavaskar at 91, you have Lara at 92 or something like that, you have Sachin at 93, you have Callis not even in here at 93. But Jack Ayling, really captain performance. Sadly it wasn't enough to let his team finish in the top 4, but finishing as the 6th best run scorer in the entire tournament and well ahead of his contemporaries in Merton is a good performance. His contemporaries are Gokul. Gokul's finished second, 1,349. Greg third, 1,236, and just 25 runs behind him is Samir. Yeah, Samir had last innings or last game where he didn't really perform in the last game, so that meant Samir was outside of the top three. Finished fourth in Merton. Other names that we haven't really spoken too much about who are there in the middle: Said Anwar, Khawaja, Gilchrist, Rohit Sharma. Yeah, he was under the radar, but he scored 1,300 runs. Dhoni had two fantastic double centuries, but nothing else besides that. Sehwag, Hayden, Jayawardene were always in there. Hayden was actually quite close to the top. Good to see Johnny Bairstow. He has a batting score of less than 80, rating of less than 80, finish so high up. Same with De Villiers. Langer has been fairly consistent. Sachin Tendulkar has been fairly consistent. Azhar Ali, I did not expect to be so high. So that's really good from Azhar Ali. I also don't remember Brian Lara scoring much besides a couple of double centuries. That's good. Who had the highest score? So the highest score is Sangakkara. Sangakkara is the highest score. Ricky Ponting second and Dravid third. And then, oh, you mean highest score overall? That's Rahul Dravid, right? Because he scored. This is the first. I think this is the first game of the entire tournament where Rahul Dravid scored 394 and Lahore scored I think 700 plus. And we thought, what the hell is this batting track? But yeah, the top two runs. This is why Saiden was there, because of his single innings of 287 and Bairstow's 286. This is why these guys are in there, in the top 15 or so. Batting average wise, it'll probably be the same. Yeah, Sangakkara, Ponting, Lara is in there ahead of Dravid. Dravid pushes himself down to 6th. And where's Jack? Jack's kind of like 10th in the batting averages. What about strike rate? Dravid is the highest strike rate. Lara, Said Anwar, pretty good. Dravid's made some really strong. I think Dravid's first innings of 394 is where his strike rate was really pushed up. How does it work for the betting league? Let's see. So let's actually finish this first. I just want to quickly see who the batsmen were who didn't do anything we expected. Flintoff, probably the biggest disappointment, 622. He has a good, there's a good rating. These guys, Kapil Dev, Botham, Imran Khan, obviously fantastic all-rounders, but that's fine. Ben Stokes as well. Chris Gayle, yeah. Chris Gayle, probably the biggest name batsman who's not done too much. And I don't know if scoring 1,000 runs is really a failure over here. Maybe they should have scored more. Maybe Callis, how many centuries did he score? He scored 3 centuries, but they're all less than 150. So I think that was Callis' downfall in this tournament, that he didn't really score that big double century. David Warner, on the other hand, has scored a double century, but nothing else really of note. So you could say that these two guys, Callis and Warner, would be a bit disappointed with their performance. Joe Root as well, I would say, would be disappointed. Batting average of only 40. Yeah, both of them, right? Ganguly and Joe Root, we expected a lot more from, especially Ganguly. I think we expected a bit more from Ganguly, more than this score. Hashim Amla started this tournament really well, but in the end didn't really do that much, because he scored 4 centuries, but his highest score is only 125. So again, he didn't score any big runs. Samir has about 15 runs more than Hashim Amla does. Greg has just a few more runs as well. Butler had a couple of good games. Dhoni had a couple of good double centuries as well. Jayawardene had a decent tournament. After this, you can't really fault anyone. These are all the good players. Okay, that's the batting lineup. And finally, before we end, let's look at the bowling stats. So my guess is Nathan Lyon 99, Muralitharan 95, and that's correct. Ashwin, Jadeja, Vettori. So five spin bowlers. This is a late rally by Glenn McGrath because Intini was leading for a long time, just ahead of Saudi and Bolt. Bolt's now nowhere to be seen. So McGrath just finishes ahead of Intini. But McGrath's bowling average is miles better than Intini's. So Intini's had to bowl a lot of overs, being one of only, I guess, 2 or 3 fast bowlers in the Victoria team because they missed Mitchell Stark in the bowling lineup. I didn't realize Shoaib Akhtar's gotten about 50 wickets because his average is a bit poor. Yeah, we'll look at bowling averages. My guess so far is that it's between McGrath and Kapil Dev. In fact, actually, you see over here Kapil Dev at 31.65. Kapil Dev was the best bowling average for a while. Kapil Dev and Trent Bolt were the best bowling averages. But where's Trent Bolt? I don't even see him. Yeah, Trent Bolt has been second half after the break. In this video, he's been really bad. So Trent Bolt's out of the reckoning. Tom Allen, same number, ends up on the same number of wickets as Trent Bolt, Dale Steyn, and Shane Warne. That's not a bad, and just behind Akram and Walsh. So Tom Allen, that's not bad, being in the midst of all of these guys. And if you look at Tom Allen's bowling average in this column over here, the third last column, Tom Allen has a bowling average of 38. Bolt 46, Steyn 47, 46. Wasim Akram 46, Walsh 40, Shane Warne 60. So this is a good bowling performance from Tom Allen. Rob, even though Rob Jordan has 2 wickets more than Tom Allen, which makes Rob the highest wicket taker from Merton, I do have to say that Tom Allen's, I don't know why I keep calling him Tom Allen, but Tom Allen's bowling average of 38 is spectacular, and he deserves kudos for that. It's significantly better bowling averages than the 50 of Rob. So to Sameer's question, the best bowling average, my guess is that it's McGrath, but we'll look again at that right now. So McGrath, we know, is the highest wicket taker among the fast bowlers, and I guess he's the best bowling average among all bowlers. AB de Villiers, let's not count this because he's bowled 6 overs, 1 for 30. Yeah, so Glenn McGrath just overtakes Kapil Dev, Tim Southee, James Anderson. This is good, right? It's good seeing these 4 really good fast bowlers in the top. Good to see that. I think Jadeja has had an outstanding tournament. So he's been one of the stars for Tom. Where's Vettori? Because Vettori also had a really strong start. Where is he? Where is Vettori? Oops. Sameer asked a question, by the way, about best bowling average. Sameer, this is the bottom of the chart. I don't think you want to see this because, oops. Sameer is, where did he go? He ran away. Best bowling average. Worst bowling average is Sameer Rana, 78. Sameer, 1000 runs, only 13 wickets. That is strike rate of 109. Every 20 overs he takes a wicket. 20 overs, think of it, is like you bowl 8 overs in a normal 40 over game or 9 overs. That means every 2.5 games he takes 1 wicket, Sameer. So yeah, four crying smileys, I think is a good way to describe that. Game is broken. I don't think so, Sameer. But maybe it is because your economy is only 4.29. I would expect it to be in the mid 60s. So we were talking about best bowling averages, right? So let's go back down. We're looking at Vettori actually. Where's Vettori? Let's sort by wickets. So let's see where Vettori is. Oh, he is fourth. Vettori is fourth, but yeah, among the top fifth. So among the top 5, he has the worst bowling average. I really don't like Lyon over there at 41. taking away the plaudits. In fact, I don't think any of the top 5 bowlers has done well. I don't know who you would say is the biggest disappointment with the ball. With the bat, we know that Ganguly, Flintoff, Calais have been subpar. With the ball, I would say Chaminda Vas, what we expected, has been subpar. I think Kumble has been subpar. His average is not what you'd expect from Kumble. Both of them have actually been Gokul's players, so you would have thought that Kumble and Vas would have done much better. And then the other one is Shane Warne. Yeah, there you go. Shane Warne, bowling average of 60. It's one of the worst bowling averages in the game. So Shane Warne has been pretty poor in this game. And so that is it. So let me take a few screenshots. Actually, I can do that on my own. So thanks for following. We will do another simulation maybe tomorrow, just a one-step simulation, and see. I'll share some stats after that game to see how that goes. It should have the real bowling lineups and batting lineups for everyone. So well done to Rob Jordan for finishing in the top 4 with only 3 frontline bowlers. So see you guys.